Keep yourself in the loop of everything football on the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. The latest news on and off the field, be it college football, Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, Pac-12, ACC to the NFL. We've got you covered. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
GSMC Football Podcast. This episode is brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. And as always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. Alright, so it's Tuesday. What is it? March 6th. Let me get on my calendar. I gotta figure out what day it is without football. See, I'm not really good at math, alright? Never really been too good. But nonetheless, we're gonna figure it out. So let's see. It is... 25 days, February, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. All right, 31st day without football. All right, I'm sorry I had to go and count it out. Like I said, not really good at math. But either way, day 31 without football. All right, we've been powering through it. We're going to begin to a little nice period to where we'll get free agency, we'll get the draft, so we'll have a lot more to talk about and all that. So, I mean, it's going pretty well so far, I feel. All right. So, let me tell you how today's show is going to go. All right, let me give you the rundown. It's going to go Le'Veon Bell talk in the first segment. Second segment, we're going to be talking about the deal Minnesota could be giving Kirk Cousins. All right, third segment, we're going to be talking Aldon Robinson. Probably not going to be back with the Jaguars. Pretty much talk about their plans. Talk about the Jaguars. Going to make a segment about the Jaguars, all right? We'll be doing that. Fourth segment, we'll be talking about whatever it is that's going on in football, anything that goes through my mind as far as football goes, any news we didn't get to, anything like that, all right? We'll be talking about it all. So, that's how today's going to go, all right? It's going to be a fun one. We're going to enjoy it. We're going to talk football. We're going to like it because it's football. All right, so let's get into it. Le'Veon Bell. As you can tell in the title of the podcast, you already know what it's about. Pittsburgh Steelers, all right? Just them being cheap. Cheap. All right? Le'Veon Bell thinks he's worth $16 to $17 million a year. Sure. Why not? All right? Highest paid running back in the league right now, making $8 million, $8.25 million. That's Devontae Freeman. Next up, you got LaShawn McCoy at $8 million. Let's do a little rundown. All right, let's do a little rundown between the players getting paid right now. All right, so you got, let's see, Devontae Freeman on average making about $8.25 million a year. LaShawn McCoy making about $8 million a year. Leonard Fournette making about almost $7 million a year. Lamar Miller's making $6.5 million. DeMarco Murray making $6.3 million. Ezekiel Elliott making $6.2 million. C.J. Anderson making $4.5 million. Christian McCaffrey making $4.3 million. Mark Ingram making $4 million. Giovanni Bernard making $5 million. Latavius Murray getting $5 million. Todd Gurley is getting about $3.5 million almost. All right, so that's pretty much how it's going for running backs right there. Okay. Obviously, running backs really aren't valued too much. All right, not making too much money, but nonetheless, that's how it is. All right. Have you noticed pretty much the difference between Le'Veon Bell and these running backs? Have you noticed it? All right, as I was reading off the names. The difference is none of these running backs could come close to doing what Le'Veon Bell does. Not close. Not even worthy of cleaning his cleats. All right? Not even close. I understand that we have this whole narrative that the running back position is pretty easy to fix. You can throw in whoever you want. That's cool. Go ahead. Do that, Pittsburgh. Let Le'Veon Bell go. All right? Franchise him. Let him sit out the rest of the season. All right? Or probably up until week 10 so he can go and collect that $16 million or $14 million that he gets from the franchise tag. Let him go do it. Let him. All right? Put whoever you want back there and let me know how it works. All right? You want to know how it's going to work? It's not. All right? Le'Veon Bell, by far, best running back in the league. By far. Okay? By far. No one does what he does. Besides Todd Gurley, and Todd Gurley doesn't do it nearly as well as Le'Veon Bell does, all right? I'd probably go as far to say that Le'Veon Bell is probably more important on that offense than Antonio Brown. All right, Antonio Brown, great receiver, probably best player in the NFL, but is he? Is he better than Le'Veon Bell? Let's say. I don't know. I feel like I remember there was one year where Ben Roethlisberger got hurt. Landry Jones comes in. It is Landry Jones, so I mean we got to take it easy there. But Antonio Brown's numbers pretty much were non-existent. Le'Veon Bell, he's there game in and game out. Doesn't matter. All right, Le'Veon Bell can go out and give you 130 yards on the ground and 100 yards through the air as far as catching the ball. Give you 8 catches, take 25 touches on the ground, score 3 touchdowns. Le'Veon Bell does that slight work with ease. All right. Without him, Pittsburgh's offense doesn't work. All right, it just doesn't. You can't tell me you can go and replace Le'Veon Bell like that. It's not going to happen. All right. There's not too many Le'Veon Bells. I've been seeing articles all over the place talking about how Pittsburgh can just go out and draft a running back to replace Le'Veon. No, you can't. All right? You can't replace that production at all. Without him, all right, there's going to be more focus on the passing game. You can't tell me that you can get a running back with his patience and with his ability to go out and catch the ball and also run the ball. It's just not going to happen. All right? And you got fans on Twitter, stuff like that, saying, why are you trying to take this much money? You can't build a defense. It's a business. It is a business. First and foremost, this is a job for these players, all right? Us as fans really don't matter too much, for being real here. All right, you got the individual fans saying, we pay your salary. No, you don't. You don't. All right? As a whole, yeah, fans play a big part. Fans decided to not show up to games, pretty much leave the stadiums empty. Yeah, that's going to hurt the NFL and these players, but that's not going to happen. As an individual fan, you cannot show up. You can not show up to a game forever. That's not going to make a difference. Not even going to put a dent in any of these players' pockets. Just the way it is, all right? The fans on Twitter saying, we're the ones who pay your money, all right, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to show up. Don't show up. Don't. They're going to be just fine. League's going to move on. Time is going to pass. Players are going to get paid, all right? It's time now where the players start demanding more money. NFL has had such a stranglehold on this, all right? You got NBA players making big-time money contracts. MLB gets guaranteed contracts. Why is it that the NFL, the highest-rated sport in the world, in the United States, soccer still runs the world, but football, highest-rated sport in the U.S., all right, makes the most money in the U.S., and these players are getting paid probably about just less than basketball and hockey players, or not hockey players, basketball and baseball players. That didn't make sense to me. All right, these owners want to keep money in their pockets, but when these players go out and ask for money, the narrative is, oh, they're being selfish. All right, they're not being loyal to the team. That whole loyal to the team is so dumb. I can't stand it. I can't stand the whole you should be loyal to your team. Because when the team goes and trades the player away, I don't seem to have a problem with it. You still go and root for that same team. Where was the loyalty there? I don't know. Yeah, exactly. All right. Le'Veon Bell, if he thinks he's worth $17 million, he's worth $17 million. Believe it or not, there's going to be a team that gives it to him. All right. If I'm Le'Veon Bell, he's already said before, he's already got enough money. All right. He'll sit this year if they franchise him. Might be a bluff. Also said he might retire. I think that's a bluff right there. I still think there's more of a possibility of him sitting for the season and just waiting for that to be done. I doubt he retires, but either way, I mean, sit out the season if I'm him. I have no problem with him sitting out. Fine by me. All right? Pittsburgh needs to eventually open up those pocketbooks. They got enough money. All right? People were saying, oh, they can't fix the defense. Yeah, that's where you draft well. You don't fix a defense by signing free agents. You draft well. Don't get mad at Le'Veon Bell because your defense stinks. All right? Get mad at Mike Tomlin, whoever's making those draft picks. Steelers have had a cornerback problem, a secondary problem since forever. They've done nothing to get that fixed. All right? Artie Burns ain't going to fix that situation. I'll tell you that much. Joe Hayden? Yeah, he did well. He's that's it. You don't have any shutdown corners. Troy Polamalu's retired. Not coming back. All right? Ryan Clark, he's retired. Go out and actually maybe get some decent players. How about that? How about they learn how to draft on defense? How about maybe instead of taking linebacker year after year, you go and you get a cornerback or a safety? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not a genius by any means. I'm just this dude talking to a mic right now. That's it. Maybe that might be a good idea, though. All right? Crazy concept. You pay your best players, and for your other positions, you draft well. Wow. Crazy, right? Ridiculous. All right? Le'Veon Bell, his production, all right, it deserves $17 million a year. It does. No one does what he does, like I said earlier. No one. Todd Gurley, it's pretty close, but second. All right? It's time the Steelers start paying these players. It's time. Antonio Brown got his contract. Big Ben's gotten a couple of contracts. Probably going to get another extension. Why can't Le'Veon Bell get paid? Dude's only, 25, 26 years old, still in his prime, barely going to be hitting his prime. And you don't want to pay him? You want to let him go to San Francisco? You want to let him go to a Tampa Bay? Better yet, you want to let him go to a Cleveland? Because Cleveland had no problem paying these players. Cleveland hasn't had a player like Le'Veon Bell since Jim Brown. All right? Literally. Cleveland would have no problem signing a Le'Veon Bell because you sign a guy like Le'Veon Bell, you can draft a rookie quarterback. You'll be just fine. All right? So Steelers need to open up those pocketbooks, stop being so cheap, and pay the guy. Because you know what? If Le'Veon Bell isn't on this offense, it's going to struggle. Pittsburgh's going to take a step down, and they are in no position to take a step down. Ben Roethlisberger's got probably about 3 years at the most in this league. Antonio Brown, yeah, best player in the NFL. After that, what do you got? Juju Smith-Schuster? Yeah, cool. After that, nothing really. Martavis Bryant's a head case. Jesse James shows up every now and then. Running back position, you're not going to be able to replace Le'Veon Bell. Plus, you got all these other teams in the AFC starting to come up, like the Texans, like the Jaguars. All right? You get the Patriots still there. The Steelers without Le'Veon Bell, no better than the Chargers. I don't know if I go that far. They're better, but not that better. All right? But the Steelers can't be taking any steps back now. This little Super Bowl window they got, it's going to last for a few more years, 3 more years. All right? Because you know what? From what the Steelers show me, they can't draft quarterbacks either. Josh Dobbs, are you serious? The most overrated player in the history of Tennessee? You brought in Landry Jones. That guy obviously didn't work out. They have no true successor to Ben Roethlisberger and haven't shown that they can even draft a competent backup quarterback. All right? For you Steeler fans who are saying, oh, Josh Dobbs hasn't played, I'll tell you this much. He's not going to be a good player. He's not going to be a good quarterback. All right? Dude didn't barely even cut it at Tennessee. Not a good quarterback whatsoever. Okay? Pay Le'Veon Bell, please. If not, you're going to struggle. Okay? But we'll see what they end up doing. I mean, they still got to work out a deal. They still have time to work out a deal and all that. But either way, that's one thing too. I hate the franchise tag. You should only be able to franchise a player once. You don't work out a deal in that year, player can be free to leave. All right, you shouldn't be able to franchise a player year after year just because you're too cheap to pay him. All right, it makes no sense to me. I don't get how that works. You want to franchise him 1 year, cool. After that, you don't work out the deal. That's your fault. Player is worth as much as he says he's worth. All right, that's never going to change. So we'll see how it all ends up. But if Pittsburgh was smart, they'd pay Le'Veon Bell. Doesn't matter if it's $17 million a year. Dude's best at his position by far. So we'll see what they end up doing. But I highly doubt they'll pay the guy because they've always been a cheap organization. But we'll see. That's going to wrap it up for this segment. Next up, we're going to be talking Kirk Cousins, talking about a guy who's actually going to be getting paid. So we'll do that. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
Alright, and welcome back to the GSMC Football Podcast. And that first segment, we talked about how the Steelers are being cheap and how they should pay Le'Veon Bell, how they probably won't pay him, how the franchise tag is just a pretty dumb thing. You should only be able to franchise tag a player once. After that, if you can't work out a deal, that's on you, and he could be free to leave. But nonetheless, NFL really doesn't do anything right, so that's just how it's going. Also talked about how fans got to stop expecting loyalty from players when the teams don't even give it back to the players. I mean, Le'Veon Bell gets his big contract. I highly doubt that he plays it out because the team's probably going to do some by either trying to restructure or just going to cut him eventually. That's just how it goes. We talked about that. This segment, we're going to talk about another player who is going to be getting paid. I don't know about should be. I mean, I'm all for a player getting his money, but Kirk Cousins is a whole different story, all right? Kirk Cousins is barely a top 10 quarterback in this league. Barely. All right? Barely had a better season than Case Keenum. And I don't even know if you could say that. All right. Case Keenum was pretty good this season, too, actually. But either way, Kirk Cousins, there's a rumor going around that he could be getting offered a 3-year, $93 million deal from the Minnesota Vikings. All of it fully guaranteed. And if the Vikings offer him that, then it's over. He's going to go to Minnesota. As you remember last week, I did say that I called it. He's going to be going to Minnesota, all right? If that happens, I would like credit for the story. I'm talking to everyone at ESPN, everyone at Fox, everyone at NBC Sports. If Kirk Cousins goes to Minnesota, I want that credit, all right? It doesn't matter who my sources are. If I have any at all, I'm calling it. Called it last week, going to call it again. He's going to Minnesota. And if I'm wrong, then I was just making a prediction. But either way, I really do think he's going to end up in Minnesota. I mean, let's just forget Kirk Cousins for a bit. Let's talk about every other position on Minnesota and every other position on Washington. All right? Talk about the two teams. Running back. Pretty much for Washington, it's a revolving door of running backs because everyone gets hurt whenever he steps out there. Rob Kelly, Chris Thompson. All right? Literally everyone else that's been out there. Minnesota, you got Latavius Murray. Jerick McKinnon's going to be a free agent, but you have Dalvin Cook coming back. Yeah, he'll be coming back off of injury, but like I said, you do have Latavius Murray who played well. All right, so you got him out there. Receiver, Ryan Grant for Washington. Jamison Crowder. Terrell Pryor, who wasn't even that good. Let's see, they got to have someone else at receiver that I'm missing. Either way, what's his name? What's that rookie's name? What was his name? Josh Dotson. All right, had him out there. Doesn't even come close to Diggs or Thielen. Both Thielen top 10, I think. Diggs near top 10, top 15 for sure. All right, so you got them. That's an upgrade. Offensive line, Minnesota's got Washington might have a better offensive line. I'll give them that, but not by much. All right, as far as defense goes, it's no contest. Minnesota by far has the better defense. All right, by far. Minnesota has a top 5 defense. I'd say Washington has a top 32 defense, if you see what I did there. As far as in coaching staff goes, Minnesota's runs circles around Washington's coaching staff. It doesn't even come close. So literally every part of Minnesota is an upgrade from Washington. All right? If you're a Washington fan, you don't really think so. It's true. It's all right. At least you got Alex Smith, though, and I like Alex Smith. All right? I think Alex Smith is going to do well with Washington. I really do. All right? They don't really have too many decent weapons out there. You got Vernon Davis, old man Vernon Davis, who was never the same after Cam Chancellor lit him up. You got Jordan Reed, who, I mean, is good for about 3.5 games a season. All right? Josh Dotson could be taking the next step in his second season. Jamison Crowder, I think he'll be playing well with Alex Smith. Ryan Grant, I think he'll play well with Alex Smith. These players are more built for Alex Smith's abilities, I think, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback than... I don't know. Is Kirk Cousins a better quarterback than Alex Smith? I don't know. I think Washington probably thinks that they have the better quarterback now. And Alex Smith did have an incredible career with Kansas City this past season. All right, probably the best year of his career. A shame that they got bounced in the wild card round. That's Andy Reid's fault. But that's a whole different story that we've talked about before. But let's see. Kirk Cousins, he's just doesn't move the needle for me. All right? And I don't know. Kirk Cousins is the weirdest quarterback to talk about. He's like good, but he's not that good, if it makes any sense. Like, I don't know. It's just weird to me. Like, Kirk Cousins is going to be getting at least $30 million guaranteed. At least. Can you believe that? Think about it. Close your eyes unless you're driving and think. Kirk Cousins, what you've seen. Now picture $30 million a year for him. Doesn't seem right. Huh? Right? It just doesn't. I don't get it. And maybe it has to do with the fact that the quarterback position is just so bad now. All right? You got your Tom Brady's, your Ben Roethlisberger's, your Drew Breeses. All right? Those guys are all going to be retiring soon. Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, they're all going to be gone within the next 3 years. After that, what do you got? Aaron Rodgers? Yeah. Top-tier quarterback, Hall of Fame type quarterback there. Andrew Luck, you don't know what's going on with the shoulder there. Matt Ryan, second-tier quarterback. I wouldn't call him a great quarterback. Good quarterback. Russell Wilson, I'd say he's a great quarterback. Yeah, I'd put him in that Rodgers group, but it's like him and Rodgers in a room. Rodgers on one side of the room. And Russell Wilson is on the worst part of the room. Either way, they're in the same room. All right, Andrew Luck could be in that room, but he's in the nurse's office. All right, getting his shoulder fixed. Matt Stafford, right there. All right, waitlisted for that room, but hasn't really done enough to get into that room. Let's see, who else? Carson Wentz, on his way, but he's in the nurse's office too. Got to fix up that knee. Let's see, Cam Newton, pretty much in the same class as Matt Ryan. Let's see, who else? There's not too many good quarterbacks anymore. Jameis Winston, he's in the remedial class right now. Dude makes way too many mistakes. And then after that, it's pretty much, you got Marcus Mariota, who's could be good, took a step back. And after that, you get the Tannehills, the Bortles, the Keenums, all those quarterbacks. The guys who really don't have a place. All right? Have the tools, but just nothing. Can't really get much out of them. All right? There's not too many good quarterbacks in this league. Okay? Not at all. Bortles is getting $18 million a year just to see if he could prove something. Dude's been in the league for 4 years. I think maybe even 5. And he's getting more money just to prove it. Just to prove that he could possibly be a good quarterback. Isn't that crazy? That's the ultimate move right there. That's the American dream. You've been okay. Haven't really been great. Haven't really been good. You've shown flashes of what you got potential. We're paying you because you have potential. All right? Wild. Ryan Tannehill. He's the ultimate. Oh, this is the year. Oh, no. That's going to be next year. Oh, no. Maybe next year. This is the year. Yeah, this is the year. No. Blew out his knee. All right. Case Keenum. Had one good year. That's it. Teddy Bridgewater. That's one quarterback that this turned into a quarterback segment too, I've noticed. But anyway, Teddy Bridgewater. That was a player who I really liked this season. All right. Obviously, he didn't play or anything like that, but I thought he could be a good quarterback for the Vikings or be a good quarterback somewhere else. And as the season's gone on, I don't know. It's just something about his value that's tanked. All right. I don't really think too highly of Teddy Bridgewater. Dude's leg almost fell off his body. He had upside at one point, but can he really do anything now? Where's he going to end up? Who wants to pay for a quarterback like that? He's not going to be getting big money. I think the Vikings are getting Kirk Cousins, so that whole thread union's rolled out. Maybe he ends up with the Jets. That'd be the ultimate Jets move right there. Instead of drafting a top quarterback, you go out and get a guy like Teddy Bridgewater and then mess it up again. Maybe the Bills. All right, they already don't like Tyrod Taylor. That incompetent organization, maybe go out and get a Teddy Bridgewater, try and make him the franchise QB. And Teddy Bridgewater could be good. I'm just saying, I'm not really too high on him right now because he hasn't played in 2 years. All right? What else we got going on? What are the quarterbacks we got out there? Sam Bradford. That's crazy. That guy's going to have a starting job by week 1. All right? It's wild. The dude is a walking bag of glass. You drop him, he gets hurt. But yet, there was one point where he was the highest paid player in the NFL. And that's when rookies were getting paid. Like, really paid. All right? Dude gets drafted by the Rams. Boom, here. Become the highest paid player in the NFL. Must have been nice. That's the American dream. All right? But yeah, as far as Kirk Cousins goes, I mean, what is he? Is he a great quarterback? I wouldn't say so. Is he a bad quarterback? No. Is he an average quarterback? I'd say he's better than that. Is he a good quarterback? Barely. I don't know, barely. Yeah. You know what? That's it. Kirk Cousins is just a good quarterback. All right? And that's still crazy to think about because he is going to become the highest paid player in the history of the NFL. Or at least the highest paid quarterback. All right? Going to be the first guy to get fully guaranteed money. Kirk Cousins. Not a Aaron Rodgers. Not a Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning could never in his career. Tom Brady never got fully guaranteed money. None of those quarterbacks ever did. But Kirk Cousins is going to be the guy that does it? Really? All right, that just goes to show you. That's where the NFL is right now. It's all about building defenses and building teams. It's about time instead of bringing in that quarterback and expect him to fix everything. All right? Stop putting so much pressure on the quarterback. Go out and build a team for him. And that's what we're doing here. All right? That's why Kirk Cousins could win a Super Bowl with Minnesota. Because you already got a top 5 defense. You already got great receivers. You already got a solid running backs. You got a solid offensive line. You got great coaches. All right? Kirk Cousins is going to ball out with the Vikings if he goes there. If he goes to the Jets, he's just going to get paid and lose. All right? Going to the Jets, I feel, is just what you don't do, but we'll see. So, oh yeah, by the way, Aaron Rodgers going to be the second quarterback to get a fully guaranteed contract. Him and Green Bay are trying to work out an extension, but he's not signing anything till Cousins gets his contract. If Cousins is getting $31 million guaranteed, $93 million fully guaranteed, what does Rodgers get? All right? Rodgers is 10 times worth what Kirk Cousins is. There's no argument for that. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Drew Brees is going to be getting an extension, all right? There's a whole bunch of quarterbacks that are going to be really rich because of what Kirk Cousins is doing. I'm sure they're very happy about it. But that's all I got to say about that. Next up, we're going to be talking about the Jags, pretty much talk about them not franchising Allen Robinson, talk about the direction they're going in, pretty much just make it a Jaguars segment, all right? Maybe we'll fit in a couple of other things. We'll see. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Football Podcast. So far today, we talked about Le'Veon Bell, talked about how the Steelers are being cheap. Yes, I said cheap. Doesn't matter to me that they're still trying to make him the highest paid running back in the league. You pay the man what he says he's worth, all right? So there's that. Talked about Kirk Cousins a bit. Talked about a whole bunch of other quarterbacks in the second segment. And for this one, we're going to talk about the Jaguars. They've made a lot of moves already in the offseason. Re-signed Blake Bortles. We actually gave him an extension. Brought him back for about 3 more years, $54 million. I'm not sure how much of it is guaranteed. Either way, he's back. Or he's going to be there for a while more, I should say. And they're not going to be refranchising or bringing back Allen Robinson, it's looking like. It's a bold move. I'll tell you that much. It is a very bold move. And I'm inclined to say, you know what? I think I like it. I like what they got going on there. All right? I like Keenan Cole. I like D.D. Westbrook. I like Marquise Lee. I even like Allen Hurns, even though the dude hasn't showed up since that one season where he had, 15 touchdowns, I think it was, somewhere around there. All right? I do. Keep the cheaper guys so you don't have to pay that guy. Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson's won around $16, $17 million a year. All right? I think if I had to pay $17 million a year, Le'Veon Bell or Allen Robinson, ask yourself, right? Ask yourself right there. Allen Robinson, a wide receiver, asking for $16 to $17 million a year. Le'Veon Bell asking for the same. Who would you rather pay that money to? Honestly. Both are going to get that. All right? Le'Veon Bell probably not, since he's going to have to sit out the year since he doesn't want to play under the franchise tag, if he's true about it. But who would you rather pay that money? Allen Robinson or Le'Veon Bell? You say Allen Robinson, you are a liar. Or just naive. Okay? And I'm sure the people are saying, I'd pay Allen Robinson. It's probably got to do with the fact that you're thinking, oh, Le'Veon Bell's is a running back. They got a small shelf life. That's just the worst possible reason you could. You're not gonna pay a top player in the league just because he could possibly get hurt. Possibly. I don't know. Let's get off of Le'Veon Bell. All right, let's talk about Allen Robinson and the Jags. Are the Jags making a mistake not bringing back Robinson? It could be, but I don't think so. Looking like they're going to be bringing back Marquise Lee instead, and he's cheaper. All right? Every receiver on that team is cheaper. You already got Leonard Fournette. That's probably the biggest part of your offense right there. Blake Bortles looked like in the playoffs that he was taking the next step. I'm not even sure what the next step is. It looked like I don't know what the next step is, honestly, for Blake Bortles. Dude's been a bad quarterback for most of his career, and he finally just showed up in his, 4th or 5th year? I got to double check how many years he's been in the league. I think he's been in the league the same amount of years as Derek Carr. So I think it was his 4th year, I think it was. There's no way it was his 3rd year. If this was Blake Bortles' 3rd year, then I am just losing it. All right? But either way, I don't know. I don't know if I like Blake Bortles, but I like what he did in the playoffs. And if he could translate that to the next season, then Jacksonville's going to be just fine. All right? I like what they're doing, Jacksonville. They're not paying Allen Robinson all that money. You're not paying Blake Bortles too much money. And by the time Blake Bortles' contract is up, you're going to pay all those young guys. You're going to pay Fournette. You're going to pay Ramsey. You're going to pay all those other guys there. All right? Miles Jack. All those guys. Paying Allen Robinson kind of hurts that. The Jaguars are being smart finally, all right? The Jaguars have been a bad team for about a decade and a half. I think, 2009 is when they made the playoffs, 2007, somewhere in between there. Since then, really haven't been much. Has been the laughingstock of Florida in the NFL. Usually that's that Miami team that's a laughingstock, but nonetheless, Jacksonville's been that. All right? Let's see, who's the worst team in Florida right now? You got the Jags, you got the Bucks, you got the Dolphins. I feel like I'm missing a team. I think that's it. 3 teams in Florida. I have to be missing a team. Or am I just going crazy? Let's see. There's no Orlando team, obviously. So, let's see. We got like I said, we got the Jags. We got the Bucks. Yeah, so there's only 3 teams in Florida. Who's the worst team in Florida right now? It might be Miami. I don't know. Tampa Bay was pretty bad last season too, but Miami lost to them. We'll call it a tie between Tampa Bay and Miami, but none of them really come close to Jacksonville right now. Yeah, so state of Florida, not too good at football. But either way, Jacksonville's being smart. But what does this mean for Allen Robinson? Where does he end up? I have one team in mind. Maybe the Fighting Jimmy G's and SF. Allen Robinson over there. Boom. You get Jimmy G as number 1 receiver. All right. You got Marquise Goodwin there who played well with Jimmy Garoppolo in his first season. All right. You got Trent Taylor, rookie, who played well. You got Pierre Garçon coming off of his injury. San Francisco doesn't have a squad. I'll tell you that much. All right. Never really been a big fan of them. Never really enjoyed watching them. All right. But nonetheless, they're going to be a real good team if they can get Allen Robinson. And I'm curious to see what San Francisco does at the running back position, too. Do you bring back Carlos Hyde? Do you go with that Matt Breida guy? Is it Matt Breida? Matt Breida? What is it? I need a San Francisco fan to tweet at the GSMC football. I think it's GSMC_football. I think that's our Twitter. Tweet at that. Let me know how to pronounce his last name. All right, but do you do that? You bring back Hyde? I like Hyde. Hyde actually stayed healthy this year. All right, Hyde's a good running back. Or Le'Veon Bell could have been an option, but since the Steelers franchised, then that's not really happening. I can't stand the franchise tag. I can't stand how teams can just overuse it on a player. It's not fair. All right? But either way, I mean, San Francisco's going to have a good squad. And that's good. That's big, too, because you've got teams like the Rams who are preparing for a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo. That's why you go out and get a Marcus Peters. All right? You go out and get a Marcus Peters to combat a Jimmy Garoppolo. You all can get a Marcus Peters to combat Russell Wilson. That division very well might be the best in football. All right? They are one Cardinals trade up in the draft from being the best division of football. Cardinals go out and get a solid rookie quarterback. There's not a bad team in that division. And it's going to be interesting to see, too. The 49ers really were rebuilt in 1 year. All right? And I'm saying 1 year because, yeah, they were bad for a couple of years, but that was before John Lynch. The dude comes in here, and he just changes everything. I mean, he's done. When they hired John Lynch, I was like, wait, the safety? All right? Obviously, I knew who John Lynch was. But I was like, there's no way. This dude has no front office experience whatsoever. Dude's been in the booth calling games, and you're going to make him the GM of your team? Turns out they knew what they were doing. All right? You go out and get Kyle Shanahan. Turns out they very well much know what they're doing. All right? You get Jimmy Garoppolo for a second-round pick. I was a little bit of a doubter on that deal. I was like, wait, it doesn't make sense. Bill Belichick doesn't trade away talent for just a second-round pick, by the way. But it turns out there's some other drama going on in New England. All right? And we'll never figure out the real story there. But nonetheless, there's trouble in paradise over there. All right, they did that. Pierre Garçon was playing well before he got hurt. Marquise Goodwin, like I said, looked really well playing with Jimmy Garoppolo. Trent Taylor, George Kittle, solid draft picks there. Defense is young. Just got to develop some more and just pretty much just get older, honestly. Just develop and get older. That's it. You already got one of those things nailed down because time passes by all the time. 49ers are going to have a good team, especially if they get Allen Robinson. All right? And I think that should be the 49ers' top priority this offseason. Get Allen Robinson. You got plenty of cap space. Let me see what the team cap space is looking like this year. And I know for a fact San Francisco has enough, but I just want to see what all the other teams are looking like. Let's see. Team cap space. So obviously you got the Browns with all the cap in the world, $108 million in cap space. All right. Let's see, the Jets got 92, Colts got 73, Bucks got 73 also. Colts are closer to 74. 49ers got $67 million left in cap. All right. You could pay a guy like Allen Robinson $17 million a year and not be hurt by it at all. All right, that's with the Jimmy G contract right there, the $67 million in cap. San Francisco, that's crazy. San Francisco 49ers, after paying Jimmy Garoppolo, have the 5th most cap space in the league. All right. You know what? Allen Robinson could be a nice little pickup for the Bears too. But, I mean, it's going to be hard for the Bears to compete with a team like San Francisco as far as getting Jimmy Garoppolo. All right. Let's go through the pros and cons of both. All right. Let's see. Weather, what's best? San Francisco's, that little Bay Area weather, or Chicago's? Don't ever ask that question again, Jesse. It's obviously the Bay Area weather. Better quarterback? San Francisco's. Better coach? San Francisco. All right. More cap space? San Francisco. Better chance at winning? San Francisco. There's literally no reason if you're Allen Robinson to go to a team like the Bears instead of San Francisco. All right, and I've noticed. It was supposed to be a Jacksonville Jaguars segment, but this turned into a San Francisco segment. All right, we pivot. This is what we do. We're jack of all trades here. We can talk about anyone. Okay? But, yeah, I'm going to make my call right now. I said that Kirk Cousins going to Minnesota. I'm going to make my call right now. Allen Robinson's going to San Francisco. I don't see why you wouldn't go there. It didn't make sense to me. Chicago, like I said, I mean, yeah, they got a young quarterback. Yeah, they got a nice little coaching staff, or it's looking like they might. But, I mean, San Francisco's got everything that's better there. San Francisco is more in place to win than probably the Bears, the Bucks, the Colts, the Jets, and the Browns. All right? Let's see, who else needs a wide receiver? The Rams do, but let's see, the Rams got $42 million cap. They're going to be franchising LaMarcus Joyner instead of Sammy Watkins. Glad they did that. Don't really understand why that was even a question. Sammy Watkins is not that good of a receiver. Let's see, yeah, the Rams need a receiver, but I think they're just going to stick with Robert Woods as their number one, probably looking the draft for a number two. The Bengals don't need one. The Redskins don't need one. Saints don't need one. Jags aren't going to be, obviously, they're moving away from him. Detroit doesn't need one. Buffalo definitely needs receivers, but they don't have that much cap space. So, yeah, it's pretty much, it's going to come down to Chicago, Baltimore, or San Francisco. And where's Baltimore at in cap space? Baltimore is, where are they at? I can't find them. Baltimore is, I don't know, I really can't find the Ravens. Let me see, let me go through this list real quick. So they're not in the top 14 in cap space. They are not top 20. They're 28th in cap space. All right, they're going to have to clear out some room to get a guy like Allen Robinson. So San Francisco's sitting pretty. They're the front runners for getting a guy like Allen Robinson. They can pay whatever they want. They can outpay, overbid for him compared to every other team. So, I mean, they're sitting good right now. If I'm Allen Robinson, I'm heading to San Francisco, no doubt. Like I said, I'm going to lock it down. That's my call for him. I'm saying he ends up in San Francisco. Chicago's a possibility, but I think that Chicago's going to be the team that ends up with Jarvis Landry. All right? I think they have more to offer than a team like the Ravens as far as draft picks go and all that. There was a little rumor going around that they were going to do, it was a rumor going around that there's a possible deal of the Dolphins giving up Jarvis Landry, a third-round pick, and their 11th pick for Jordan Howard. I think like a 7th-round pick, and then the 8th pick in the draft that the Bears have, but turns out that wasn't really a real deal or anything like that. If that would have happened, that would have been the ultimate finesse move by Miami. But either way, just never happened. So, yeah, Allen Robinson probably going to end up in San Francisco. Still like what the Jags are doing. All right, I like the fact that they're going young, not really paying too many people. And then as far as the Bears go, they'll probably end up with Jarvis Landry. But that's all I got to say about that. Next up, we're going to be talking about pretty much anything else going on in football. Maybe talk about Robert Quinn going to the Dolphins in a bit. Pretty much anything else that comes to mind. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts, past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
Welcome back to the GSMC Football Podcast. So far today, we've talked about Le'Veon Bell, talked about Kirk Cousins, talked about a bunch of other quarterbacks. Last segment, we talked a bit about the Jags, talked about how I said that Allen Robinson is going to end up in San Francisco. I mean, there's no way that he doesn't, right? So, yeah, that's my pick for it right there. Let's see. For this segment, let's talk about Aldon Smith for a bit, all right? Had a domestic violence incident over the weekend, turned himself in today, which is Tuesday, and was released from custody on bond. All right. Aldon Smith, one of those guys that had all the talent in the world. All right. All the talent in the world. Remember when he was at San Francisco? I think, what was it, him and then, who was the other guy on the other side? Was it Justin Smith? I can't remember exactly. When they were like really good at San Francisco for a little short period of time. All right. Aldon Smith was out here pretty much just taking the league by storm. Had all the potential in the world. I think how many sacks did Aldon Smith have in his career? Let's see. Let's look at his stats, all right? Because I'm sure we're going to find something crazy. Like, the dude was just ridiculously talented and for some reason just couldn't get out of his own way. That's all it is. Just couldn't get out of his own way. All right. Was it all pro, one-time Pro Bowler? Let's see. First year in San Francisco, played 16 games, didn't start either of them. Let's see. had 14 sacks in his rookie year. Did not start a game. Did not start one game. I did not even realize that. 14 sacks his rookie year. Second year, all right, starts all 16 games, has 19 and a half sacks. All right. Third year, only plays 11 games that year, starts 8 of them. Not sure if he got suspended or whatever. Has 8.5 sacks. All right. Last year with San Francisco, only plays 7 games, has 2 sacks. And then his final year with Oakland, 2015, has 3.5. All right. The dude was on fire. Had what? Let me see. 42 sacks in his first 3 seasons. All right. I'm not even sure if I did that math right. I think I did. Let's see. Did I? I'm really bad at math. Yeah, 42 sacks. Something like that. Pretty sure it was 42 sacks. All right, I'm just doubting myself. But either way, 42 sacks in his first 3 seasons, and it's all gone to waste because he just couldn't get out of his own way. Not sure if it's because he just wasn't surrounding himself with the right people or he's just not the smartest guy out of the bunch. All right? But either way, had so much potential. Probably to be, dare I say, maybe had the potential to be better than a J.J. Watt. Maybe. And I might be saying a lot there. But either way, the dude was ridiculous. All right? And now it's all gone to waste. This guy isn't playing ever again in the NFL. He's just the Justin Blackman. All right? Remember Justin Blackman? When he played for the Jags, it was, 2 years? Justin Blackman was a crazy talented player, all right, at the wide receiver position. But just couldn't get out of his own way, too. And now he's out of the league. Probably won't ever be back. All right, got drafted in what? When did he get drafted? I think got drafted in 2012. All right, first year in 2012 has 865 yards, 64 catches, 5 touchdowns. Next year, didn't really play that much, all right? Only played 4 games that season. 415 yards, and that's all she wrote. Obviously, his stats aren't as flashy as Aldon Smith's, but we all know that Justin Blackman had talent. All right? All the talent in the world. But couldn't get out of his own way, so here we are. Now he's gone. Almost had the same thing happen with Josh Gordon, all right? Josh Gordon, way more talented than Aldon Smith and Justin Blackman put together. Looks like he's finally starting to figure it out. So now he's got a second chance. All right? Aldon Smith not getting another chance. Justin Blackman still suspended by the league. Don't ever know if he'll ever be reinstated. All right? These dudes have had all the chances in the world. Could have been whatever they wanted in the NFL, but just chose to not be too smart. All right? So now, there it is. Aldon Smith, career's over. Only had a few years to watch him. Now, just another guy who played in the NFL. Sad, ain't it? But either way, wanted to talk about that for a bit. Let's see what else we got going on in the NFL. Robert Quinn on Friday was traded to the Miami Dolphins. I love this move. All right? I do. Miami basically used the 4th-round pick they got in the J.J. trade or got an extra round. I'm not sure if they used the exact one they got or they used their other 4th-round pick. Either way, they still have a 4th-round pick to use, and they were able to get rid of one because they got an extra room in the J.J. trade. All right? Doesn't look too bad now. Believe it or not, Miami's running game got better once Jai left, all right? That's one trade where you can't say either team lost. Obviously, Jai looks like he's the one who won since he got the Super Bowl. As far as Miami goes, their running game got a whole lot better when he left. All right? I think it's just a matter of fit. Jai is more of a zone read type runner. All right? Didn't really fit in Miami's offense. But now, you got them trading for Robert Quinn. All right? Robert Quinn, injuries seem to get the best of him the last couple of years. Really hasn't been the type of player he's pretty much put out to be, but he's more of a defensive end. But he was playing in a 3-4 defense this year. Still had, 8.5 sacks this season, I think it was, playing as an outside linebacker. Now going to Miami, he's going to be in a scheme that fits him. He'll be playing in a 4-3 defense. All right, he'll either be playing alongside on the other side of Cameron Wake, or he'll be playing on the other side of either Charles Harris or Andre Branch. If I had to make my pick, I'd say it'd probably be Charles Harris. All right, Charles Harris showed flashes of what he could be. Didn't have too many sacks, only 2 sacks, but was able to get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Just now it's a matter of getting the quarterback down. All right, if I'm Miami, as far as Cameron Wake goes, I'm just going to bring him off the bench, right? In a situational type things, 3rd downs, or if someone else needs a breather. All right, Cam Wake had double-digit sacks again this past season. Dude is a monster, all right? Real old player. They're going to be 35 this year, I think, but either way, still dominating on the D-line, all right? And plus, you got Godshaw, you got Phillips, and you still got Sue. I'm not sure what Miami's doing. I think someone on that D-line is getting cut, I think, or traded. The only one that could get traded is Andre Branch. The only two that could get cut are Cameron Wake or Dominican Sue. I think Miami would be making a mistake if they cut Sue. All right. Yeah, I get he's worthless. We're paying a lot of money for him, but either way, he's still one of the best defensive tackles in the league, if not the best. All right. Just check the stats if you don't believe me. So I think they'd be making a mistake cutting a guy like Sue. I say you figure out a way to trade Branch, and you make Harris your other side starting DN, and you have Wake come off as a substitute or bench, come off the bench. Seems weird coming off the bench because you usually use that term in the NBA, but either way, you get what I'm saying. All right, so Miami kind of looks like they actually have a plan of what they're trying to do at least. All right, they're making moves, trading picks, all right, getting players. Now it's just a matter of the next domino falling, which is Jarvis Landry. What happens with him? I highly doubt he ever ends up back in Miami. If he does, it's just going to be for this 1 year. After that, he'll be gone. All right. Adam Gase and him never really seemed to see eye to eye. Landry's more of a vocal type player, and I think Gase likes that, but to an extent. I think Jarvis Landry maybe goes over the edge a bit, but, I mean, I never thought it was much of a problem. I really think that Landry's going to end up getting traded, probably end up in Chicago. If he ends up in Chicago, Mitch Trubisky's going to have a great year, all right? Like I said, I've been high on the Browns. You guys have known that if you've listened to the podcast. I've been real high on the Browns. Think they're going to be a team who can compete for a wild card. Will not make the wild card, all right? But they'll be a team who finishes 8-8, 7-9. They'll be in the hunt. That's what I'm saying. They'll be in the hunt next year, all right? And with a Jarvis Landry, I think that makes it even more true. Plus, you got Jordan Howard, Tariq Cohen. Probably draft another receiver in the draft either way. Chicago's going to have a pretty decent team. All right. I say let Allen Robinson go to SF, and you go out and you get Landry. Baltimore is also a team that can go out and get a Jarvis Landry type, and I think he'll thrive there too because Joe Flacco's not a good quarterback. Jarvis Landry is the perfect receiver for a Joe Flacco type. All right. Joe Flacco, all you got to do is throw the ball maybe no more than 10 yards to him, and he's going to do the rest for you. All right. It's the Miami Dolphins special right there with Jarvis Landry. Never really had him run anything deep. Always had him run short routes, and boom, hit him, he'll do all the rest. All right. So there's that. And I'm real curious to see what they're doing at the quarterback position. Like I said earlier in the second segment, you got Ryan Tannehill, but that's the ultimate. This is his year. He's going to break out this year. Oh, no. Okay, no, it's going to be this year. Finally, they got the right tools or the right people for him. Oh, no, next year. All right, this is going to be his year. Oh, he tore his ACL. Well, next year. Next year is going to be his year. That's been Ryan Tannehill's career. All right? And I think that if a Josh Rosen or Baker Mayfield falls to number 11, you got to take him. You have to. All right? I understand that Adam Gase has been saying that Ryan Tannehill is the starting quarterback for this season, but you can't pass on a quarterback of that talent. Unless a Roquan Smith or Edmonds out of Virginia Tech is there, then you take one of those two. All right? Because linebacker is by far a bigger need than quarterback for Miami right now. Because, you know, there is that possibility that Ryan Tannehill could very well have a decent season. There is that. But like I said, it's just the ultimate, oh, this is the year. Nope, maybe it's not. All right? But they are going to need a backup quarterback. And I think if Tannehill doesn't work out this season, and again, I don't think they owe Tannehill any guaranteed money after the going forward. So you draft a Rosen or a Mayfield, and you like what Tannehill done this season, then you could throw them out there after a year of development. All right? So Miami has a lot of decisions they got to make as far as what they're going to do in the draft. I'm real curious to see. If I'm them, I'm going Rosen instead of Mayfield. Rosen is by far the best quarterback in this draft, the most NFL-ready quarterback. And if I'm Miami and I can get Rosen, I'm trading Tannehill and seeing what I can get for him. All right? I really am. Rosen, I'd take Rosen over Tannehill in a heartbeat. I think Rosen is that good, but we'll wait and see. All right? Other news, looking like the Saints are interested in bringing back Jimmy Graham. He's going to be a free agent. Doesn't look like he's going to be coming back to the Seahawks. That could be a nice little reunion for Drew Brees. Going to make that offense even better, all right? Jimmy Graham was a huge, good fit with that Saints team. Just never really got it together with the Seahawks. So we're going to look out for that. But that's going to wrap it up for today's show. All right? Today we talked about Le'Veon Bell, talked about Kirk Cousins and a bunch of other quarterbacks, talked about how Allen Robinson's going to be ending up in San Francisco. That's my prediction. And then for this segment, talked about the sad career of Aldon Smith, Justin Blackmon, talked about how Josh Gordon could have followed in that same little path. And let's see what else we talked about. We talked about Miami again, Robert Quinn, talked about Jarvis Landry, and a whole bunch of other things. So thanks for listening to the GSMC Football Podcast. As always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. We'll be back on Thursday, so stay tuned, and we will talk to you later.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.